Hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live session on Data Interpretation Part 1 brought to you by TalentSprint. I hope all of you are in good health and your preparation for the upcoming bank and SSC exams is in high gear. What we do in these sessions is take up these topics. Like today's discussion is on data interpretation. So we have questions chosen from previous year bank exams paper, right, on data interpretation. So we'll be solving questions from data interpretation in the session today. But before we directly look at the questions, I would like to give you a few important concepts related to data interpretation, right? Again, you can learn all these concepts by watching our videos. We have a lot of videos available on DI as a part of your regular learning process. So you can go through those videos to learn more about this in details. But a quick review is as follows. Now, data interpretation, like you all know, is a high weightage topic, right? And especially when it comes to bank exams, exams like the main examination, right? IBPS PO main exam or SBI PO main exam, or for that matter the clerical exams as well, it's given a high weightage, right? You can expect questions on data interpretation anywhere between 10 to 25, 30 marks, right? Or sometimes up to 35 marks. And these questions are usually asked in the sets of 5, right? Some data is given to you either in the form of a table or a line graph or a bar graph or a pie chart, right? Sometimes it's a mixture of two of these things, right? A line graph along with a pie chart or a bar graph along with a line graph. So data is given to you in a pictorial format. You got to study the data, understand, interpret what is given there, and then answer the questions followed, right? Usually 5 questions are asked. Now, for you to be able to answer the questions, there are some important topics that you must learn, like important concepts, right? Like percentage based concepts. I think 3 of the most important concepts, like we have already discussed in the videos as well, are as follows. Number 1 is X is what percent of Y. Now, X is what percent of Y is a very, very popular question, right? X is what percentage of Y. Like for example, the number of students passed in IBPS PO main examination is what percentage of the number of students passed in SBI PO main examination. So there's a comparison, right? We are trying to do a comparison between students passed in IBPS PO mains versus students passed in SBI PO mains, or rather with respect to students passed in SBI PO mains. So X is what percentage of Y. X is what percent of Y, right? How do you measure this? X is what percent of Y? X by Y into 100, right? Again, you can refer to the videos for more details. I'm not writing anything here, just trying to revise the concepts. Okay, so X is what percentage of Y? X by Y into 100, right? The profit of company A is what percentage of profit of company C? Profit of A by profit of C into 100. Remember, the same question can be asked in a couple of other ways as well, right? Instead of saying X is what percentage of Y, sometimes the question is framed as what percentage of Y is X? X is what percent of Y? What percent of Y is X? It's the same. X is what percent of Y? What percent of Y is X? It's like this, right? What is your name? Your name is what? I mean, your name is what doesn't sound right English, but what is your name and your name is what? The answer would remain the same. So X is what percent of Y and what percent of Y is X are exactly the same, right? What percent of Y is X is as good as X is what percent of Y. X by Y into 100. Or sometimes it is asked a little more convoluted, right? X is what percent of Y can be asked as follows. What percent is X of Y? What percentage is X of Y? So basically X is out of Y, X is what percentage? I mean, if you take Y as the base, the idea is this: if you take Y as a base, if Y is the denominator, then X will be what part of that denominator, what percentage of that denominator. And since it is in percentage terms, we take X upon Y. See, always the base has to be the the base has to be taken correctly. It has to be chosen correctly. So X upon Y multiplied by 100. We are multiplying by 100 to get a percentage value there, right? So the first concept is X is what percent of Y, or what percent of Y is X, or what percent is X of Y. Answers for all these 3 is X by Y into 100, X by Y into 100, right? A simple technique to remember all these 3 variations is as follows. Whatever comes after of, whatever is followed by of, has to be taken in the denominator, like what Rajendra Sharma has just pointed out, right? X is what percent of Y, that Y goes in the denominator. What percent of Y is X? Of Y, right? So that Y goes in the denominator. What percent is X of Y? So out of, basically of, right? Of. Whatever is followed by of, that should be considered in the denominator. See, why I'm stressing on this is because many students get confused. I mean, there are only 2 answers that you can get here. Either you take X by Y into 100 or Y by X into 100. right? The easy way to remember this is to take whatever is followed by of in the denominator, right? That's concept number 1. Very quickly, concept number 2, x is what percentage more or less than y. Now this again is very, very important. X is what percentage more or less than y. In the previous one, we were trying to find out x is how much of y, but now we are trying to find out x is how much more or less than y in terms of percentage. So x is what percentage more than y, or x is what percentage less than y. X is what percentage more than y, or x is what percentage less than y. How do you calculate this? X minus y by y into 100. So basically the difference between the two values divided by y into 100. Now why are we taking y again in the denominator here? See, don't make up your mind that always y should go in the denominator, because the actual question may not have y as a variable, right? I mean, in general we use x and y, but the actual question may have r and p. So the confusion will be, is it r or is it p? Simple way to remember this is, what is the question? X is what percentage more or less than y with respect to y. We are doing the comparison with respect to y. So x is what percentage more or less than y, difference by y into 100. Take the difference of x and y, take the difference of x and y, compare that with y, right? So x minus y by y into 100. X minus y, the difference of or x minus y simply divided by y into 100. Okay, remember, you may get a positive or a negative answer. You may also get a negative answer in this case, right? X minus y, if it is negative, then it will result in a negative percentage. Don't panic that why am I getting a negative answer. That negative sign there indicates that x is less than y. If x is less than y, you'll get a negative sign. If x is more than y, then you'll get a positive sign. I mean, you'll get a positive answer. So that's the only thing. And the third and the most important concept from percentages, a percentage change. Sometimes they ask you to calculate percentage change, right? Percentage change of profit from 2013 to 2017. Percentage change of revenue from some year to some other year, or percentage change in the population from this particular year to the other year. What do we do? How do we measure percentage change? Percentage change. See, when you're talking about change, it's always between two values. There are two values. You have to compare and find out the change in terms of percentage. How do you measure the change? See, when there are two values, there's always a initial value and there is a final value. Like when I'm talking about percentage change from 2013 to 2017, the value in 2013 is the initial value. The latest value is 2017. That's the final value. The percentage change, the simple formula is final minus initial by initial into 100. Final value minus initial value by initial value into 100. Final minus initial is again like difference of the two values divided by initial value. And remember, initial value should be taken in the denominator. The base is very important. In all the three cases, the base is very, very important. If you do not consider the right base, then you end up getting a wrong answer, right? So base should be the initial value. Always the change has to be calculated with respect to the initial value. So percentage change is final minus initial by initial into 100. Final value by final value minus initial value divided by initial value into 100. Now he may not be very specific as to what is final and what is initial. You have to understand that. Like how much is the percentage change in sales from March to July? From March to July. Now he has given you the data from March to July. He's asking you to find out the percentage change from March to July. Obviously March is the initial value, July is the final value. So that understanding has to be there, right? So final minus initial by initial into 100. Final value minus initial value by initial value into 100. Sometimes they simply put it up in this format, right? What is the percentage change in the sales of the company over the years? He has not mentioned any year there. He just said over the years. Percentage change over the years. Now look at the data. The data here is from 2011 to 2017. For example, I mean, we don't have any example case here, but let's assume the data is given from 2011 to 2017. What is the percentage change over the years? Over the years means from the first year to the last year. So what will be your initial value? Your initial value will be the 2011 value. Final value 2017's value. Okay. So over the years is for the entire period. Of 2011 to 2017. So obviously initial value will be the first value, which was in 2011. Final value will be the last value, which was in 2017. So this is how you measure percentage change. Final minus initial by initial into 100. Other concepts are all very simple. Ratio based calculations, right? Find out the ratio of the sales of A and C in 2017 and the sales of X and P in 2014. Pick up the values, calculate the ratio. Then the other common question in data interpretation is from average. Find out the average of a particular set of values. So pick up the right values and then find out the average. So percentages, ratios and average. These three are very, very important when it comes to data interpretation. And yes, the most important of all, is your numerical skill, right? You must be very quick in doing these calculations. You cannot be doing paperwork for every simple calculation there. Data interpretation is all about picking up the right values and putting the in one of these formats depending on what the case is, and simplification. So if you are not very strong in doing that simplification, then you may end up taking a lot of time. Okay, so practice on your calculations. I think that's the key. If you are strong in your calculations, solving these questions will obviously get easier. Now in the session today, we are going to look at some questions on data interpretation. One very important format which has been introduced in the recent bank exams is on missing data interpretation. You must have heard of this, right? Some of the values in the data itself are missing. Like there is a table given to you, 5 by 5 table, so 25 values. Out of these 25, only 17 values are given, 8 values are missing. Now when we say 8 values are missing, these are not literally missing there. It's not given in the table. The values there are indirectly given either in the question or in some other format. You're able to follow? It just looks to be different. Instead of directly giving you everything in the table there, they have given you some of the values in the question itself. So you have to read the question, find out the missing value, and then solve the question, right? And the other thing which has been introduced is, earlier data interpretation used to be all about profits of companies, populations of countries, sales, and stuff like that, general stuff. But these days they have introduced arithmetic concepts in data interpretation. Like they give you a table based on simple and compound interest. They can give you a table on time and work, or time and distance, or permutations and combinations, or or something like profit and loss. Anything can be asked. It's nothing but the same concept has to be used. I mean, the same concept has been given in a different format. It has been presented differently. Instead of asking it in a paragraph fashion, they have asked you in a table fashion, tabular fashion, or a pie chart, view kind of thing. So don't panic when you look at such questions. It's all the same. Like I said, it boils down to only one thing: how good and how quick are you in your calculations? That is the ultimate test, right? So focus on your calculations is the point. Raman Lakshmi says, can you please take up such kind of question? Yes, I have been taking such questions. We have discussed such questions on missing data interpretation with arithmetic ability concepts many times in our live doubts clarification sessions, videos of which are available in your account. We will discuss some questions today as well. Now let me quickly look at if there are any important comments to be addressed here. If not, I can present the first set of questions to you all. Anything there? No, I think most of you have been just answering the questions or the concepts that were being discussed. Okay, we have Prasun Kumar here who says, hello sir, this is my first class of data interpretation. From where I can start the preparation of DI? Well, Prasun, since this is your first session on data interpretation, first class on data interpretation, you may not be able to solve. See, while I've tried discussing all the concepts, it was more of a revision, right? So what I would suggest is don't get disappointed if you're not able to solve the questions from the session today. You may not be able to answer all the questions, but then try and follow as much as you can. What you should do is go back and watch those videos. We have videos available for all these concepts, right? Watch those videos, understand the concepts thoroughly, and then come back and try and solve these questions again. This video will anyway be made available for you to watch later, right? So I think just stick to the class, and after that watch the basic videos for getting that clarity. Okay? So I don't think there are any specific comments that I'll have to take up. Let me present the first set of questions to you all. We have, and let me tell you, all these questions have been chosen from the previous year papers, right? All these are previous year paper questions. So I have the first set of questions. There's one set of questions where we have a pie chart and a table. We'll come to this later, or maybe let's start with this. Yeah. Okay, so I've got the first set of questions. Let me present this to you all, and I'll give you some time to understand the data first, then look at the individual questions. So here we go. The first set of questions from data interpretation is on your screens now. See what it says. Look at the data. He says, study the below information and answer the questions given below. So percentage-wise distribution of number of mobile phones sold by a shopkeeper during 6 months. So he's talking about the percentage distribution of number of mobile phones sold by a shopkeeper during 6 months. So you can look at this pie chart, right? We've got 6 months here: July, August, September, October, November, December. So from July to December, he has given us a breakup of number of mobile phones sold in terms of percentage. See, total number of mobile phones sold is 45,000. So basically 45,000 mobile phones have been sold over 6 months. Here's the breakup: 17% of these phones, which means 17% of 45,000 phones were sold in July, 22% were sold in August, 25% were sold in September, and so on. So if you add up all these percentages, it should give you 100. See, this is the distribution of the total mobile phones, right? So total 100%. So 17 and 22, 39 and 25 is 64 and 80, 72 and 12 is 84 and 16 is 100. Yeah. So 100%. That 100% has been split across 6 months. Then there is also a table given to us. What is this table? Again, month from July to December, ratio. He has given some ratio. Look at this point. The respective ratio between the number of mobile phones sold of company A and company B during 6 months. So I think strictly, if I have to do some small corrections here, there should be a shopkeeper. I mean, he's talking about one particular shopkeeper. So percentage distribution of number of mobile phones sold by a shopkeeper, and then there are two companies, company A and company B. So the shopkeeper here sells phones of these two companies, company A and company B. So out of the total number of phones sold in July, the ratio between company A and company B is 8:7. Yes or no? 8:7. Then similarly, the ratio of mobile phones sold in August, sold of company A and company B is 4:5, and so on. All right. So what you can do is, just spend 1 or 2 minutes here, not even 2 minutes. I mean, just spend a minute. Try to do 1 or 2 example, one or two calculations for a particular month. See, it's very, very important for us to understand that before you jump to the questions. Remember always, before you jump to the data interpretation questions, actual questions asked, you got to understand the data very, very clearly. You have to understand what all can be extracted from this data. So from this data, I can see that I can find out the number of mobile phones sold per month. Again, if I use the ratio, I can also find out how many mobile phones of company A were sold in that month and the number of mobile phones of company B sold in that particular month. That's the data I can extract. I'll maybe do one calculation for all of you to get that clearly. So get a clear picture of what all is available in this data, right? And then proceed to the questions. So try and do one sample calculation and then we look at the questions here. Maybe try to do it for the month of July or August or whichever month you like. Find out the mobile phones sold for that particular month, total phones sold, and then get the breakup between company A and company B phones. Let me do a sample calculation for all of you. For example, let's say July. How many mobile phones were sold in July? 17%. Now 17% of what? 17% of 45,000. So number of phones sold in July. Total of the month July. How much is that? 17%. 17% of 45,000. Now you must be very quick in doing this calculation. In fact, you should not even waste your time in writing 17% of 45,000. You should do the calculation mentally and put the value directly. How do you calculate 17%? I'll say 17% is 20% minus 3%. 10% of 45,000 is 4,500. So 20% will be 9,000 minus 3%. 1% is 450. So 3% will be 1,350. Yes or no? 1,200% will be 1,350. So 9,000 minus 1,350. 9,000 minus 1,350 will be 7,650. So total number of mobile phones sold in July is 7,650. Right? 20% minus 3%. 9,000 minus 1,350. Now, what else can be calculated? Mobile phones of company A and mobile phones of company B. So how many of A were sold in July? How many mobile phones of company A were sold in July? How do you get that? See, the ratio for the month of July is 8:7. Company A versus company B. So 8 parts out of total 15 parts. Out of every 15 phones sold, see, that's what is the meaning of a ratio, right? When you say 8:7, 8 parts go to company A, remaining 7 parts go to company B. So if at all 15 parts were sold, 8 parts belong to A, 7 parts belong to B. So 8 out of 15. 15 is what? 8 plus 7, right? 8 out of 15 multiplied by the total value for July, which is 7,650. Similarly, B for July. How many mobile phones of B were sold in July? 7 out of 15 into 7,650. Again, you can do these calculations. I mean, see, 7,500 by 150 is, you understand, it's always about split and merge, right? 7,650 can be split as 7,500 plus 150. 7,500 by 15 is 500. 150 by 15 is 10. So this is like 510. 510 into 8 510 into 7. That's the calculation. See, that's what I'm telling you, right? It is eventually all about calculation. There's nothing complex here. It's all about how do you do these calculations. How quickly do you do these calculations? Yeah. So 7650 by 15 is 110. I mean, sorry, 510. That's what you need to understand. 510 into 8, 510 into 7. Okay, so assuming that you have understood what all can be done from this data, what all can be extracted, let me present the first question to you all. Let's look at the first question. Here's the first one. So the same data, pie chart and the table is given to you, the ratio is given to you. Look at the first question. What is the respective ratio between the number of mobile phones sold of company B during July and those sold during December of the same company? Same company meaning B. So B in July is to B in December, right? That's the question. B in July is to B in December. What is the ratio is the question. Now how do you get B in July? See, B in July, 7 parts. Understand, again, one very important point to be noted, never try to find out the actual number of mobile phones sold in July, then actual number of mobile phones sold in December. That's a waste of time. First, write down everything numerically and then see what all can be cancelled, because a lot of time can be saved by doing the cancellations instead of doing the complete calculation. So B in July will be as follows. B is 7 parts out of total 15 multiplied by 17% of 45,000 is to, look at December. December, the ratio is 7:9, which means B is going to be 9 parts out of 7 plus 9 is how much? 16. Yes or no? 9 parts out of 16 multiplied by December's percentage is 16% of what? 45,000. Of 45,000. You're getting it? Now you got to do this calculation. Advantage is, if you are smart, you would not even write 45,000 on paper because it gets cancelled on both the sides. This percentage also doesn't really matter. Percentage means what? By 100 and by 100. On both the sides, you have to divide by 100. So it better gets cancelled. So what you should ideally put on paper is only this. 7 by 15 into 17 is to 9 by 16 into 16. You should not even write this step. The second step and the first step are a waste of time. You are getting me? Try and understand. These things will actually help you save a lot of time. Why do you want to write B in July is to B in December? You know that already. Why do you want to write the whole set of numbers there? Just focus on what is important. You know what will impact the value. The ratio will impact the value and the percentage will impact the value. So 7 out of 15 into 17. 9 out of 16 into 16. And do the calculation now. So do the calculation. What happens? 16 anyway gets cancelled here. So 7 into 17. How much is 7 into 17? 70 plus 49. 119 is to, this 15 gets multiplied by 9. 15 into 9. How much is that? 135. That's your answer. 190 is to 135. Option C. Alright. Move to the next one. Next question. If 35% of the mobile phones sold by company A during November were sold at a discount, how many mobile phones of company A during that month were sold without a discount? Now this again is interesting. He says 35% of the mobile phones sold by company A during November were sold at a discount. How many were sold without a discount? Without discount. How many were sold without discount? Right? How many were sold without discount? See, it's obvious that if 35% were sold with a discount, 35% were sold at a discount, remaining 65% were sold without a discount. So I'll directly write 65%. You're able to follow. If 35% were sold at a discount, 65% were sold without a discount. 65% of what? The mobile phones of company A in November. Now what is the mobile phones of company A in November? 7. Out of total 7 and 8, 15 multiplied by November. How much is that? 12% of what? 45,000. See, here I cannot skip any value because there is no cancellation involved, right? I mean, it's only one particular value that we are trying to find out, absolute value. In the previous case, it was the ratio. So we can avoid common values, but here you cannot avoid anything, right? You have to take the whole calculation. So why have we taken 65%? 65% is the number of mobile phones sold without discount. How do we know 65% is the value? Because 35% was sold at a discount. What is 7 by 15? The fraction of mobile phones of A sold in November. 7 out of 15. What is 12%? The total number of mobile phones sold in November. So total sold in November, out of which sold of company A, out of which sold at a discount. 65% is sold at a sold without a discount. Yeah. Now work on the calculation. Again here percentage is by 100, so you actually have to do the calculation there. Yeah. So if I mean simple ways, I can straight away divide 45,000 by 15, right? How much is 45,000 by 15? See, 45 by 15 is 3. So this is 3,000. So this becomes 3,000. So 65% of 65% into 7 into 12 into 12% of 3000. Now just work on the numbers. Work on the numbers then. Yeah. I mean, if you want, you can maybe apply unit digit method. You can apply digital root method, whichever you want to try. But remember, 5th option is none of this. Option E is none of this. So these techniques may fail when one of the options is none of these here. Okay. But maybe you can try to work on unit digit method and see what really can be the answer. I mean, if at all you want to try that, at least 1 or 2 options will get eliminated. At least, I mean, 2, 5, 8, 5, right? At least 2 options will get eliminated if you apply unit digit method. But if you don't want to take a risk, do the full calculation. Doesn't take much time, right? What is 12% of 3000? 10% is 300, 2% is 60, so 360. This becomes 360. Yeah. What is 65% of 360? Or first maybe multiply 7 with 360. What is 7 into 360? 7 to 360 is 2100 plus 420, 2520. 65% of 2520. You understand? 65% or 65 by 100 into 2520. 7 into 360, 2100 plus 420. Yeah? Do the calculation. See, you know that 50% of 2520 is 1200. 1260 basically. Answer should be more than 1260. So option A and option D are immediately eliminated. This is based on the range, approximate calculation, right? I am taking 50%. 50% of this 2520 is going to be 1260. 65% should be more than 1260. So obviously A and D are eliminated. Now the choice is between B and C. And of course, option none of this is always there. So you better do a complete calculation. See, don't go by the length of the explanation, because I'm explaining it to you, it has taken so much of time. Otherwise, option A and D can be eliminated just by looking at the values there. You don't have to read out the whole thing, right? So do that 65% of 2520. If you do not want to calculate, do the calculation directly. See, I would rather do it this way. Instead of doing 0, 0, cancel and all that, I'll say 65%, not 65%. It is 50% plus 10% plus 5%. Keep it simple. Don't try to do cancellation 0, 0, cancel 2 into 5, 2 into 126 and all that. It's a waste of time. 65%, right? 65% can be taken as 50% plus 10% plus 5%. All these are easy to calculate. 50% is what? Half of this value, which is 1260. 10% is what? 252 readily available. 5% is what? Half of 252, which is 126. Anyway, I know that unit space is going to be 8, so option B is also eliminated. Now, if you don't want to do the complete calculation, mark option C is the answer. High chances that option C is correct because unit space is matching. Otherwise, complete it. 1200 plus 200, 1400 plus 100, 1500. 1560, 1610, 1630 and 1638. Option C will be the answer. You're able to follow. Even addition need not be done. I mean, don't try to do this kind of an addition. 1260, 252, like how those Kirana shop fellows do, right? 8, 11 and 2, 13. You're not fit for the exam if you're doing all this drama. Right? You can't be doing this. 1200 and 200, 1400 and 100, 1500. 60 and 50 is 110, 110 and 20 is 130. 1500 plus 130 is 1630. 1630 plus 8, 1638. Option C. Alright, so very simple question, should not take more than 20-25 seconds in my view, right? Next one. Here's the next one. Try this very quickly. If the shopkeeper earned a profit of rupees 433 on each mobile phone sold of company B during October, what was his total profit earned on the mobile phones of that company during the same month? So very simple. He says that shopkeeper earned a profit of 433 per mobile phone on each mobile phone of company B during October. So what was his total profit? Total profit will be equal to total number of mobile phones of company B sold in October multiplied by 433. I know that per mobile phone I am earning 433 rupees. Find out how many mobile phones were sold. Of which company? Company B. In which month? October. Do that now. Company B in October. It is 5 out of 12, right? 5 out of 12. So 5 by 12. Yes, 5 by 5 plus 7, 12. Multiplied by October, right? October is what? 8%. 8% of what? Total. Total is 45,000. This should be multiplied by what? 433. Because we have to find out the total profit. Yeah. Do the calculation, you'll get the answer. What is 8%? I mean, if you, just calculate it directly. What is 8% of 45,000? 10% is 4,500. 1% is 450. 2% is 900. So 8% is like 10% minus 2%. You understand? Split and merge. Very easy to do. 8% is not 8%. 8% is 10% minus 2%. So 4,500 minus 900, 3,600. That divided by 12 is 300. Yes or no? 36 by 12 is 300. 3 into 5 is 1500. So basically the answer is 1500 multiplied by 433. 1500 multiplied by 433. Do the calculation. You'll get the answer. You're able to follow 1500. Again, don't try to, while you can do 433 into 15 on paper, the easy way to do is 433 multiplied by 1500 is what? 1500 is not 1500. 1500 is 1000 plus 500. So 1000 into 433 plus 500 into 433. That's the way I look at it. It may look like a lengthy process, but actually gives you the answer much faster. 1500 is not 1500. 1500 is 1000 plus 500. Now 1000 into 433 is readily available. 433,000, which is like 4,33,000. Yes or no? Plus 500 into 433. Now 500 into 433 is half of this. What is half of 4,33,000? It will be 2,16,500. Now for sure I know that the answer should end with 500. If you look at it, 3 zeros and 500. Answer should end with 500. So option A 900, option B 900, option C 400 gets eliminated. It should either be option D or it should be none of this. Complete the calculation. 4 lakhs and 2 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 33,000 and 16,000, 49,000 and 500. So 6 lakhs, 49,500, option D. So the only thing that matters here is the way you do your calculation. How quickly do you do your calculation? Yeah. Here's the next one. The number of mobile phones sold of company A during July is approximately what percent of number of mobile phones sold of company A during December? Try and understand. Which format is this? Number of mobile phones sold of company A during July is what percent of? Approximately what percent of? Is what percent of the number of mobile phones sold of company A during December? You remember X is what percent of Y? X is what percent of Y? X by Y into 100. X is what percent of Y? X is what percent of Y? X by Y into 100. What is X here? A in July. What is Y? A in December. So X by Y into 100. So A in July upon A in December into 100. X by Y into 100. So A of July by A of December. A in July is what percentage of A in December? Calculate. Again, it's a percentage based calculation, right? So all the common values can be skipped. You don't have to write 45,000 in numerator, 45,000 in denominator. Anyway, it gets cancelled. So try to keep it simple. What do we do? A in July. What will impact A in July? The ratio 8 by 15. What else will impact? The total phones sold in July, which is 17. Divide. Now don't write 17% of 45,000 because that anyway gets cancelled with the denominator. A in December. How much is it? 7 out of 7 plus 9, 16. Right? Multiplied by total in December, 16% into 100. You get it? Do the cancellations. Do the simplification, you get the answer. And since he's talking about an approximate calculation, we can, we need not be very precise with this. You can, save a lot of time there. 110, 140, 150, 105. Answers are also, spaced out. So you can do an approximate calculation easily there. What do we do? Let's cancel the 16. Try to be as precise as possible. Cancel the 16. What happens? We will be left with 8 into 17 by 15 into 7. This 15 and 7 will get multiplied by, right? 15 and 7 will get multiplied. So 8 into 17 divided by 15 into 7. What is 8 into 17? 8 into 17. 80 plus 56, right? 136. What is 15 into 7? 105 into 100. Yes or no? 8 into 17 divided by 15 into 7. I hope you are able to follow. 15 into 7 is 105. How much is this now? See, understand. Since he's talking about approximate calculation, right? Try to eliminate the wrong answers. If the denominator is 100, let's say, assume the denominator is 100. What happens? If the denominator is 100, it will become 136% because 100 and 100 will get cancelled. These two hundreds will get cancelled, we'll get 136%. If the denominator is 100. Actual denominator is more. If the actual denominator is more, it should be less than. See, when the denominator increases, the value decreases. Try to understand. When the denominator increases, the value decreases. Assuming that the denominator is 100, what happens? It becomes 136%. Approximately, let me say 136%. Approximately. What am I doing? I am assuming this to be 100. So 100 and 100 gets cancelled, we'll get 136%. But actual denominator is more. Actual denominator is 105. Actual denominator is more. If the actual denominator is more, actual value should be less. When the actual denominator is more, actual value has to be less. It should be less than 136%. It should be less than 136%. Immediately, 140 and 150 will get cancelled. We are left with what? 110 and 105. But will it be so less that it will become 110 or 105? No. It will be much more than that. You understand, right? I mean, you should get that sense of range. What can be the range? It will be around 130, 125%, somewhere in that range. It cannot be so less that it becomes 110. Yes or no? If I have to do a precise calculation, it is like this: 136 by 105. This is what I am looking at. So 136 by 105 can be taken as 105 plus 31 by 105. So 105 by 105 is 100%. 31 by 105 is approximately 30%. So somewhere around 130%. It cannot be 110 or 105%. You're getting it? Sorry. It cannot become 110 or 105%. It should be close to 130%. So option A and option D are also incorrect, not in the range, and hence the answer has to be option 5, none of these. Option 5, none of this. Alright, I hope all of you have followed this. So I think from the first it was a pretty simple one pie chart given to you along with a table, and very, very standard and common question type, right? Percentages given in pie chart, ratio given in the table. Just play with those numbers. It's all about playing with numbers. Yeah. Samriddhi Madan says, sir, it is 114.24. So which option should we choose? I don't think it will be 114.24, right? 136 by 105 cannot be 114%. See, strictly speaking, I'll tell you one thing. When they are talking about approximate calculations, right? When they have asked us to do an approximate calculation in the question, fifth option should not be given as none of this. It should never be given as none of this. Ideally, all the 5 options should be given. Some numerical value has to be given there, and we can choose the best of those. The moment they give none of this, there is an argument, right? I mean, here in this case, answer is, let's say 130. We have got 130%, right? Approximately. I can say 130 is approximately 140%. You're able to follow. So the examiner may say, no, 130 is none of this. So it is ideal that fifth option should not be none of this, but it is given in this format here. But none of the options are in the range, right? I mean, 130% can be taken as 128, 129, somewhere in that range is fine. Like Vignesh just mentioned that it is exactly 129.5. So 129.5 can be taken as 130% or maybe 129%, but it cannot be taken as 140% or it cannot be taken as 120%. So that is the reason fifth option, none of this. Had it been any close to 110 or 130 or 140 or 150, we would have chosen the other options. But it's not that case, right? It should be less than 130. It should be less than 136. It should be around 130. No option satisfies that. Okay. Anyway, so this is done, and I think the takeaway here is very clear that okay, Anubrat has asked a question again. If 130 is an option, then definitely 130 should be marked as the answer. If 130% is given the option, then I would mark 130 because it is approximately 130. So still the examiner may fight, saying that no, it's 129.5, right? So maybe approximately is 129 or approximately 129.4 or 129.6. That is the reason I'm saying fifth option, none of this is pointless there. It makes no sense. However, go with the closest possible option. You know that difference between 130 and 140 is huge, right? 130 is actually close to the correct answer. 140 is not close to the correct answer. So if 130 is given in the option, then you mark 130. Otherwise, fifth option, none of this. Yeah, so I think the takeaway here is that you have to be very quick in your numbers, with numbers, right? You should be very comfortable in doing these calculations and avoid writing too much on paper. The more you write on paper, the more time it takes, right? So cut down the number of steps that you put on paper and then you'll be able to do it very quick. Okay, let me present the next set of questions. I think we have one more question which is of a similar format, pie chart along with a table, but this time table also has got some percentages. So let's quickly solve these next set of questions on DI and then we'll move on to missing data interpretation. Okay, so here we go. Look at what it says. The total population of 7 cities together is 90 lakh. Given pie chart shows percentage distribution of this population and the table shows the percentage below poverty line in these cities. So it's talking about 7 cities. Yes or no? He's talking about 7 cities. Total population is 90 lakh. Yeah, total population is 90 lakh. What are the 7 cities? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So pie chart gives you the percentage distribution of population, and the table shows the percentage below poverty line. For example, in city A, 48% of the people are below poverty line. In city B, 45% of the people are below poverty line. Yeah. In city E, 55% of the people are below poverty line. And I think a very simple case study, right? So let's say we have to look at some values, like for example, city A. What is the population of city A? 10%. 10% of 90 lakhs is 9 lakhs. So total population of A is 9 lakhs. How many are below poverty line? 48%. BPL, below poverty line from city A. How much is that? 48% of 9 lakhs. Now this is important. How quickly do you do your calculation is important. 48% of 9 lakh. What is 48%? I would take it as 50% minus 2%. 50% of 9 lakhs is 4.5 lakhs. 2% of 9 lakh. 2% of 9 lakh will be 18,000. So this should be 4,32,000. You understand? Always try to break the given percentage in terms of simpler percentages. 48 can be taken as 50 minus 2. 48 is equal to 50 minus 2. Why am I taking it as 50 minus 2? Why not 45 plus 3? Because 45 plus 3 will make my life even more complicated. 50 is easy to calculate. 50% of 9 lakhs, 50% is half. Half of 9 lakhs is 4.5 lakhs. 2%. 1% for 9 lakh will be 9,000. 10% is 90,000, 1% is 9,000. If 1% is 9,000, 2% should be 18,000. So 4,50,000 minus 18,000, 4,32,000, 4.32 lakhs. Similarly, let's say I have to do it for city B. City B, 20%. 20% of 90 lakhs is 18 lakhs. So total of B is 18 lakhs. 18 lakhs. BPL of B, below poverty line of B. How much is the percentage? For B, it is 45%. 45% of 18 lakhs. How do you calculate 45%? 45% is 50% minus 5%. So 9 lakhs minus 90,000, 8.1 lakhs. Very easy to calculate. It's all about doing those quick calculations, right? How do you calculate 45%? 50% minus 5%. 50% is 9 lakhs. If 50% is 9 lakhs, 5% will be 90,000. So 9 lakhs minus 90,000, 8.1 lakhs. Okay. Anyway, the data is very simple. Let's look at the questions. The first one is on your screens here. What is the population of city C which is above poverty line? It's a sitter, right? A piece of cake. Population of city C above poverty line. If below poverty line is 35%, above poverty line will be remaining 65%. So answer should be 65%. Yes or no? Below poverty line is 35. Above poverty line should be 65. 65% of what? Total population of city C, which is 8%. Of what? 9 lakhs. Do the calculation. It's about calculation now. Yeah. So 8% of 9 lakhs, 10% minus 2%, 90,000 minus 18,000, 72,000. Yes or no? 8% of 9 lakhs is 70,000. So 65% of 72,000. This is equal to, there can be other ways of calculation also. I mean, if you don't want to do it, what you can do is 65% of 8% can be taken as 65 into 8 by 100%. That also can be done. Let me do it in this way first, right? 8% of 9 lakhs. 10% of 9 lakhs, 90,000. 2% of 9 lakhs is 18,000. 9 lakhs minus 18,000. Sorry, 10% of 9 lakhs is 90,000. 2% of 9 lakhs is 18,000. 90,000 minus 18,000, 72,000. So 65% of 72,000. Again, I can say 65% is 50% plus 10% plus 5%. So 36,000 plus 7,200 plus 3,600. So 36,000 plus 10,800, 46,800. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I've made a mistake. It's not 9 lakhs, it is 90 lakhs. I'm sorry about this. I was wondering, none of the options are in the range at all, right? It's not 9 lakhs, 90 lakhs. Anyway, one extra zero. So 7,20,000 basically. Yeah. Nothing to worry about, right? 7,20,000. %10 is 9 lakhs. 2% is 1,80,000. So 7,20,000. 65% of 7,20,000. So 50% plus 10% plus 5%. So 3,60,000 plus 72,000 plus 36,000. 72,000 and 36. 1,08,000. 3,60,000 plus 1,08,000 is 4.68 lakhs. 4,68,000. Option C. Yeah. Or you can also do it in this way, 65% of 8%. We have discussed this, right? X% of Y% is equal to XY by 100%. I mean, if you don't want to deal with 2 percentages. So 65% of 8% can be taken as 65 into 8 by 100. What is 65 into 8? 480 plus 40, 520. 520 by 100. 5.2%. 5.2% of 90 lakhs. Right? It can also be taken as 5.2% of 90 lakhs. 5.2% of 90 lakhs. 5% of 90 lakhs is 4.5 lakhs. 0.2% of 90 lakhs is 18,000. So 4.5 lakhs plus 18,000, again 4,68,000. Either ways you get the same answer, option C. Okay. I hope you have understood this, right? So I can say 65% of 8%. It should be equal to 65 into 8 by 100. 65 into 8 by 100. 65 into 8, 480 plus 45, 25, 20 by 100, 5.2%. So all I want is 5.2% of what? Of 90 lakhs now. 5% of 90 lakhs is 4.5 lakhs. The moment I know 5% is 4.5 lakhs, 5.2% should be more than 4.5 lakhs. So option A, option B gets cancelled. And you know that 0.2% cannot be taking it to 5 lakhs. It may be 4.5 plus something, a little more. 0.2% is 18,000. So 4.5 lakhs plus 18,000. Option C. D also gets eliminated. Anyway, next question. What is the difference between the population of E, which is below poverty line, and the one which is above poverty line? Now, this is interesting. What is the difference between the population of city E, which is below poverty line, and the one which is above poverty line? How do you do this? See, the population of E, which is below poverty line, is 55. BPL is equal to 55. Implies APL is 45. Yes or no? You don't have to write this on paper. Only for the sake of clear explanation, I'm putting it up, right? If BPL is 55%, above poverty line is 45%. So what is the difference? 55 minus 45, 10%. That's it. You have to calculate 10%. 10% of what? E's population. What is the difference between the population of city E, which is below poverty line, and the one which is above poverty line? Below poverty line is 55. So obviously above poverty line is 45. Difference of these two is 10%. So your answer should be 10% of E's population. What is E's population? 22%. Of what? 90 lakhs. So first calculate 22% of 90 lakhs. What is 20% of 90 lakhs? 1.8 lakhs. If 20% is 1.8 lakhs, 2% will be 18,000. So 1.8 lakhs plus 18,000. Sorry, 20% is 18 lakhs. So 2% will be 1.8 lakhs. I am always missing that 1 0 there. Sorry about that. 22% can be taken as 20% plus 2%. 20% is 18 lakhs. 20% is 18 lakhs. If 20% is 18 lakhs, 2% is 1.8 lakhs. So 18 lakhs plus 1.8 lakhs, 19.8 lakhs. 22% of 90 lakhs is 19.8 lakhs. 10% of 19.8 lakhs, 1.98 lakhs. Yeah. So 1.98, option B is the answer. Simple calculation, right? 22. How do you do this? 22. 22 is 20% plus 2%. 22% is 20% plus 2%. I can also take it as 25% minus 3%, but 20 plus 2 is easy to calculate. Why is it easy to calculate? The moment I get 20%, 2% is readily available. 20% of 90 lakhs is 18 lakhs. If 20% is 18 lakhs, 2% will be 1.8 lakhs. So 18 lakhs plus 1.8 lakhs, 19.8 lakhs. 10% of 19.8 lakhs. 10% of 19.8 lakhs, 1.98 lakh. Next one here. What is the ratio of population of city A, which is above poverty line, and the population of city D, which is below poverty line? Be careful. City A, APL, is to city D, BPL. Usually we commit mistakes by not choosing the right values. Population of A above poverty line, population of D below poverty line. A above poverty line, see, below poverty line is 48, so above poverty line will be 52. 52% of what? A's population. A's population is 10%. Now this time I will not take 90 lakhs at all. It's not required because 90 lakhs is common on both the sides, right? It will get cancelled. In fact, I should not even write percentage in percentage. I can directly write 52 into 10. Is to population of D below poverty line. What is D below poverty line? Directly it is 40%. 40% of what? Total of D's population, which is 13%. Do the calculation. Percent also is not required. So it's basically 52 into 10 versus 50 into 40 into 13. And 13 here goes 4 times. 13 goes 4 times in 52, right? 40 plus 12. 4 into 10 is to 40. 40 is to 40. 1 is to 1 is the answer. Option A is the answer. Yes or no? 40 versus 40. 40 is to 40. 40 is to 40 is 1 is to 1. Simple one again. Next question. Try this quickly. The population of G, which is above poverty line, is approximately what percent of population of A, which is below poverty line? This time it is in the percentage format. A is what percent of B? A by B into 100. X is what percent of Y? X by Y into 100. G, APL is what percent of? Is what percent of? Look at this. Is approximately what percent of A BPL? So G APL is what percentage of A BPL? G by A into 100. G APL. What is G APL? 50% is BPL, so 50% will be APL, obviously, right? There's no difference. I mean, if 50% is below poverty line, 50% will be above poverty line. So 50 into what is G's percentage? 9. Divided by, I'm not taking 90 lakhs again because that's of no use, it will get cancelled. A BPL is how much? 48. 48 into A's population 10. Remember, this 50 is not this 50. Whatever 50 we've written here is not this 50. This is 50 BPL. This 50 is the 50 APL. You might be wondering what nonsense is this. This 50 is not that 50. 50 or 50 same only, but this 50 represents the BPL population. This 50 is the APL population. Yeah. Anyway, so 50 into 9 by 48 into 10 multiplied by 100. X is what percent of Y? X by Y into 100. X by Y into 100. X by Y into 100. So basically 45 by 48. 545, 45 by 48, 45 by 48. See, 45 by 48 is very close to 100%. Slightly less than 100%. Little less than 100%. Yeah. 45 by 48 is very close to 100%. Less than 100%, right? Calculate that. I mean, going by the range, you know that it cannot be 96 or 95%, right? It is less than 95%, in fact. Yeah. And more than 90%. So the only option left out is option C. I mean, it is around 95. Option C or option D. I'm not sure. Let's do a precise calculation. 40, or maybe you can simply do it further, right? It's like 15 by 16. 15 into 3, 15 into 16 into 3. 15 by 16 into 100. Do that calculation, 15 by 16 into 100. I mean, I'm doing a precise calculation because values are close. 94, 96, both are close, right? So 15 by 16 into 100. So this is again 16 into 1, 16 into 6.25. Yes or no? 16 into 6 is 96. 16 into 0.25 is 4. 96 plus 4 is 100. Yeah. 15 into 6.25. 15 into 6, 90. 15 into 0.25 is 3.75. So 93.75. Yeah, I think 93.75. So 93.75 means it should be 94%. Yes, the earlier estimate was right. It should be less than 95% and more than 90%. Anyway, immediately E, A and B gets cancelled. The confusion was between C and D, which got sorted out by doing the precise calculation. Yeah. Option C, 94% is the final answer. Okay. Next question. Try this one now. The population of city B, which is below poverty line, is approximately what percent more or less than the population of D, which is below poverty line. Now this time it is X is what percentage more or less than Y. We have discussed this, right? X is what percent more or less than Y. How do you calculate this? X minus Y by Y into 100. Very, very important. X is what percentage more or less than Y. X minus Y by Y into 100. What is X here? B BPL is approximately what percentage more or less than Y. What is Y here? D BPL. D BPL and B BPL. So B BPL is how much? 45% of B. D BPL is how much? 30% of B. So this is actually X. 45% of B's population. You're able to follow? X here is city B, which is below poverty line. So how do you calculate? 45 into population of B, which is 20, minus Y. What is Y? D BPL. 40 into population of D is 13. Divided by Y, 40 into 13 into 100. X minus Y by Y into 100. You understand? The first numbers here represent the percentage below poverty line. The second numbers represent here the population of that particular city. So BBPL is what percentage more or less than DBPL. X minus Y by Y into 100. So 45 into 20 minus 40 into 13 divided by 40 into 13. X minus Y by Y. Denominator is very important. Denominator should be Y. It should not be X. It should be Y. Now do the calculation. I think we can take 5 common, right? So take 5 common. This is 9 times. This is, in fact, I can take 20 common. Let me reverse the last 2 steps. I can take 20 common. It becomes a lot more easier. You're able to follow? It was 45 into 20 minus 40 into 13 by 40 into 13. So this is like 20 into 1, 20 into 2, 20 into 2. Becomes a lot easier, right? 45 minus 2 into 13 is how much? 26. 45 minus 26. 45 minus 26 is 19. 19 by 26 into 100. You're able to follow? 45 into 1 is 45. 2 into 13 is 26. 45 minus 26. 45 minus 26 is 19. 19 upon 2 into 13 is 26. 19 by 26 into 100. Find out. Find out how do you do this now? It's like approximately 20 by 26. So 10 by 13 or whatever. Approximately, I mean, if you want to include this 100 into your calculation, 100 by 26 is 4. 4 into 19. 100 by 26 is approximately 4. 4 into 19, 76. It should be around 76%. So option 1, option B and option C are eliminated. 73 and 78 both are around 76. You're able to follow. If I approximate this as 25, 26 is approximately considered as 25. 25 goes how many times? 4 times. 19 into 4, 19 into 4. How much is that? 76%. Approximately 76%. But remember, actual denominator is more. What did we consider? We have considered this as approximately 25. Approximately 25. This is what we have looked at. So 25, 100 by 25 is 4. 4 into 19 is 76. Yeah. Actual denominator is more. If the actual denominator is more, it's not 25, right? It's 26. If the actual denominator is more, actual value should be less. It should be less than 76%. See, all we are trying to estimate here is, will the actual answer be more or less? Sorry. All we are trying to check here is, will the actual answer be more or less? It's not calculated at all in my view. The only calculation is take 20 common, then you will be left with 19 by 76. Then, only thing I am trying to check is, I mean, I have approximated this as 25, we will get 76. Actual denominator is more. If the actual denominator is more, actual value will be less. It should be less than 76%. The only option which is less than 76% here is 73. Of course, remaining are also less than 76 only, but they are not close to 76. So between 73 and 78, 73 is the best one. Yeah. So the way you look at the options, the way you look at the numbers given to you is what is important here. So the second data interpretation question is also done, and I have the same conclusion. It's all about numbers. Very quickly, you should be really very quick in doing your calculations. And it's not just about the numbers given in the data, it's also about options. How do you eliminate options? Very quick analysis has to be done. Like what we've done here, right? Approximately 25 goes 4 times, 19 times 4, 76, approximately 76. If there were only one option which is close to 76, we are done. We are through. But here there are 2 options which are close to 76. One is 73, the other is 78. Now we are lucky that one is less than 76, the other is more than 76. So all I have to check is, will the actual answer be more than 76 or less than 76? With whatever analysis we have done, we found that it should be less than 76. So 73 is the answer. Otherwise, you may have to spend a little more time. Yeah. Anyway, done with the second one as well. Let's now move on to the third question. Yeah, it's playing with numbers and speed math, like what Anubhav has pointed out. Now let's move to the third one, third question from data interpretation, which is on missing DI, right? Missing data interpretation, missing, some values are missing. And this also involves the concepts of simple and compound test. I told you, right? These days they're asking questions with missing values involved with the concepts of arithmetic ability. So this time we have something on simple and compound test and with missing values. So let me present this to you, study this first, and then we look at the questions. So here we go. quick. So he talks about a chartered accountant. A chartered accountant have information about the investment of 5 people on a tabular sheet. He did not fill few data in the sheet. Study the information given in the table and using it answer the following questions. So look at the table first and then I'll present the questions to you all. Vineet Anand has asked a question here. I am weak in profit and loss and SI and CI concepts. So should I go through arithmetic and simplification videos and then DI? Yes. If you are weak in those topics, you will not be able to answer such type of questions. The one that you have on your screen now. Right? And by the way, Samriddhi has just confirmed that this was asked in the IBPS PO mains exam. This question was asked in the IBPS PO mains exam. So good. We have something from the recent bank exams. Okay. So I think there's nothing that can be calculated here. You just have to understand the data. And since the values are missing, you have to also look at the questions. Okay, so let's look at this. Here's the question. He says the chartered accountant has information about the investment of 5 people on a tabular sheet. He did not fill few data in the sheet. Study the information given in the table and using it answer the questions. So I think these are the 5 clients, right? A, B, C, D are the 5 clients of that chartered accountant. Look at the types of interest, right? CI, SI, CI, SI, CI, right? So it looks like the kind of investment that they have done. Either they have done on CI or SI. Time period of investment in terms of years, the rate of interest in term, of course in percentage, principal amount and the amount. This amount is probably the total amount, let's assume, or maybe the interest, we'll have to figure out. Yeah, so values are missing. Like for example, for the client A, the investment is done on CI, right? Time period is 2 years, rate of interest is 2% per annum, principal amount is not given, amount also is not given. But look at the data for client C. I think for client C we have got a lot of data. He's talking about compound interest, time period is 2 years, rate of interest is 5%, principal amount is 4,50,000. So we can calculate the amount. Now I'm assuming this is the amount of interest, right? Or maybe the total amount, you never know, either of those. Amount of interest only, let's assume. Yeah. So let's do the calculation for C, client C, right? Because only for client C we can find out the total amount because only one value is missing. See, we should have at least 3 of the 4 values here to get the answer. In the only case where 3 values are given is client C. So we know the time of investment, we know the rate of interest, we also know the principal amount. Let's find out the interest amount. This is a compound interest case. Now here comes the concepts of CI and SI. If you are not thorough with the concepts of CI and SI, you will not be able to answer the questions. CI, how much will be the CI for client C? Compound interest. How do you calculate compound interest? We use the effective percentage concept, A plus B plus AB by 100. So rate of interest is 5%, time period is 2 years. What was the total interest? 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5 by 100, 10.25%. So CI for client C will be 10.25%. Of what? Of the investment, which is 4,50,000. You're able to follow? What did we do here? A plus B plus AB by 100. Remember, compound interest we always calculate using CI. The compound interest is going to be A plus B plus AB by 100%, where A is the rate of interest for first year and B is the rate of interest for second year. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5 by 100, 10.25%. Simple interest is simply A plus B. Compound interest is A plus B plus AB by 100. So CI will be 10.25% of 4,50,000. Now calculation again is very important, right? How do you do this? 10.25% can be split as 10% plus 0.25%. 10% of 4,50,000 will be 45,000. 0.25%. See, 1% is 4,500. You're getting it? I am breaking 10.25% as 10% and 0.25%. 10% of 4,50,000 is 45,000. Simple. 0.25%. Now how do you do this? See, 1% of 4,50,000 will be 4,500. 1% is 1/100th of the value. 1% is 1 by 100. So divide by 100. When you divide by 100, what do you get? 4,500. 1% is 4,500. I want 0.25%. 0.25% is 1% by 4. So 4,500 by 4. What is 4,500 by 4? 1125. So 1125. So what is the total interest? 45,000 plus 1125. It is 46,125. 46,125. So I'm assuming this is amount of interest, right? So it should be 46,125. Yeah. Or it could be total amount also. If it is total amount, then what do we do? 4,50,000 plus 46,125. Then it will become 4,96,125. Okay. Anyway, let's look at the first question. Here's the first one. I'll leave you with this for 1 minute. The clock starts now. Look at the question. If D invested the money at 9/2 times the rate of interest at which A invested, find the investment of D. Given the values here, I'm assuming it is total investment, right? Amount is, and in general also amount is, total amount, right? If it's not specified, you take it as total amount. So this is total amount. Let me tell you, this is total amount. Total amount, which is principal plus interest. Okay. So keep that in mind. Nothing is specified. You can take it for granted as total amount. You're done? Okay, so let's take up the first one. Here we go. The question what is given here is, if D invested the money at 9/2 times the rate of interest at which A invested, find the investment of D. Remember one point, amount as I mentioned is total amount, right? If nothing is specified, always take it as total amount. So he says D has invested the money at 9/2 times the rate of interest at which A has invested. So what is the rate of interest for D? Rate of interest for D is going to be 9/2 times of rate of interest of A. What is the rate at which A has invested? At 2%. So 9/2 times of 2%, which is 9%. So the rate at which D has invested is 9%. The time period for D is 3 years as given here, right? The principal for D is not given, but what is given? Total amount. He's asking us to find out the investment of D, right? Investment of D has to be calculated. So this is equal to what? Is a question. Yeah. Now total amount is given 3,23,850. Understand, if the rate is 9% and the time period is 3 years, what will be the simple interest? It is a simple interest case. For D it is a simple interest case, right? Simple interest is how much? 9 into 3, right? 9% per year for 3 years. You'll get total 27%. Simple interest is 27%. Amount is nothing but total amount. Amount which is given here is total amount. Principal plus investment. Principal plus interest. Principal is always 100%. So 100% plus 27%. See, all these are simple calculations. You need not put pen on paper. So I can say that the total amount A is equal to 127%, which is equal to 3,23,850. 3,23,850. He's asking us to find out 100%. He's asking us to calculate what? The investment. Investment is nothing but the principal. Yes or no? Principal or investment are same. Whatever you invest will become your investment. I mean, whatever you invest will become your principal amount. So investment of D is equal to what? Investment is always the principal amount. Principal amount is 100%. So this is the calculation that we need to do. If 127% is 323,850, 100% is equal to what? Do not go by the formula. SI equals to PTR by 100. Total amount is equal to P plus PTR by 100. All that is a waste of time. Simple point. He says rate at which D has invested is 9/2 times of rate at which A has invested. A's investment rate is 2% per annum. So D's investment will be 9 into 2%, 9/2 into 2% per annum, which is equal to 9. So 9% per year for 3 years will give you 27%, which means total amount that you get after 3 years is 127%. So that 127% is 323,850. 100% is equal to what? Cross multiply and simplify. Data in a decade is ruled out. Answer should be either A or B or C or D. Do the calculation. So this will be equal to the question mark. The missing value will be equal to 100 into whatever 323,850 upon 127. Upon 127. Calculation may take a little bit of time, but yeah, do it. I mean, the concept is important. You should know what kind of calculation that you have to do. How do you do your calculation is your lookout. 323,850 by 127. Chakrabarti Siddharth here has asked a question. Sir, A has 2% per annum. Wouldn't the rate be 4.44? Why will the rate be 4.44? 9 by 2 times of 2%. How did you get 4.44? A's rate of investment is, he is invested 2% per annum. D is 9 by 2 times of 2% per annum. 2 and 2 gets cancelled, right? It will be 9%. Okay. Anyway, I'm sure you'll do the calculation. The answer here is option C, 2,55,000. It comes out to be 255,000. You can actually go for maybe, I think the best way to solve this would be to go for digital route method. I'm assuming digital route method will help us here. Because the again, don't ask me what is the digital route method. We have discussed this in simplifications video. You can go through that. But the point is, digital route for option A is 9. Digital route for option B is 7. Digital route for option C is 3. Digital route for option D is 5. And option D is eliminated because it says data inadequate. Data is not inadequate. We can calculate the answer, right? So since the digital routes are all different here, there is a high chance that I can solve the question without doing the actual calculation, without doing the actual simplification. You're able to follow. 9, 7, 3 and 5 are the digital routes. So there is a high chance that I can get the answer even without doing the complete calculation. At least 2-3 options will get eliminated. At least 2 will get eliminated. How do you apply digital route method? See, substitute the digital route 1 by 1 in place of question mark. What is the digital route for 100? It is 1. What is the digital route for 323,850? 323,850, it's going to be 5 and 3, 8, 8 and 8, 16 and 5 is 21, right? It's going to be 3. Yes or no? 2 and 3, 5 and 5, yeah, 18. So the digital route for this is going to be 3. And what's the digital route for 127? Is going to be 1. So the point is, I will substitute options 1 by 1 in place of question mark and see which option satisfies the digital route here. You're able to follow? Let me clear it up and explain. Now that I've taken it up, let me just get some space. Yeah, I'm removing this answer here. So basically, it reduces in this format. Understand? I can say this is as follows. The question mark. I'm cross multiplying. Right? Only look at this part. Look at this part. What I'm doing is I'm cross multiplying. The question mark multiplied by, see, cross multiplication. So this digital root of 1 will get multiplied by question mark. Should be equal to 1 into 3. That's it. Question mark should be multiplied by 1. Digital root 1 should be equal to the right hand side. What is the right hand side? Digital root of 1 multiplied by digital root of 3. Now 1 multiplied by 3 is 3. 1 into 3 is 3, right? So overall digital root of right hand side is 3. If the digital root of right hand side is 3, digital root of left hand side will also be 3. Substitute 9 here. 9 into 1. I am taking option 1. If I put 9 in place of question mark, 9 into 1 is 9. Is 9 equal to 3? No. Option A is eliminated. Put 7. 7 into 1, 7. Is 7 equal to 3? No. Option C, 3. Digital root in option C is 3. 3 into 1, 3. Satisfies. So maybe the right answer. You cannot say guaranteed. Maybe it's the right answer, right? Option D, 5. 5 into 1 is 5. On the left hand side, you have a digital root of 5. On the right hand side, the digital root is 3. Is that possible? No. So 1 is not possible, B is not possible, D is not possible, E is not possible. So obviously option C has to be the answer. Now look at the advantage of using this SMART method, digital root method. I did not do any calculation. I did not do this tedious calculation of 323,850 divided by 127. Yeah. So digital root, I think, is a very useful technique. Not useful always, but definitely in this particular case. You cannot apply unit digit method. Why didn't we go for unit digit method here? Because all the options are ending with 0. So you cannot really apply unit digit method. Yeah. You may forget about the last 3 digits and check for the 4th digit, but even that will not help because here it's 5, here it's 0, here it's 0, and here it's 5. It will not give you the perfect answer. Yeah. So digital root is the best thing to do here. Now, whether you will get this idea or not in the exam is important, right? How do you make sure that you get this idea in the exam? Practice, practice, and more practice. Suppose option E, instead of data and indicative, is given none of this, then this becomes a risk. If none of this is given in place of option E, instead of data and inadequate, then what happens? Definitely A, B, and D are wrong. It can be C or it can be E. So there you have to take a little bit of chance. If you're not ready to take that chance, then do the complete calculation. Then do the precise calculation. 100 into 323850 divided by 127. The choice is yours. Okay. Let's go for the next one. Next question. Next question is on your screens now. Try it. Try this quick. Now these questions would take a little longer because there's a concept of simple and compound interest involved, right? Also some values are missing. It's not like the first two DIE sets that we have solved. Everything was given and all were very easy calculations. So what is it? Find the amount earned by C if he invested the amount he received from his investment for next 2 years in the same scheme in which E had invested or E has invested. Approximate. You have to do an approximate calculation. So try this. First of all, find out how much amount will C earn from his investment. 2 years, 5%. I think we have done this calculation already, right? 4,50,000 plus, what did we get? 46,125 if I am correct. Yeah. So whatever amount C gets out of that investment, he has to put in place of E for 2 years. That's another compound interest. 2 years at 8% per annum. Find out. I mean, I want all of you to solve it properly. I mean, I'm sure you'll get the answer. Take a couple of minutes and solve. I mean, take as much time as you want, but don't give up. Get the right answer. Your speed is all about your calculations. First of all, try to get the accurate answer, and then we'll worry about speed. For those who have not understood, I've already explained. Find out the amount that C will get here in this place. Invest that amount in this place. That question mark should come here. For how many years? For 2 years. And then find out what is this. That's the question. To put it in simple words. All right. The time is up. I've in fact given you more time. Honestly, I had stepped out of the studio. I was very hungry, and my good friends outside studio have organized something. So, yeah. So, how many of you have done this? Option E, option C, option A, option D. So only B is left out. If somebody can mark option B as well, we'll be done. You must have, you would have covered everything then. I can see A, could not understand, D, yeah. Muralidhar has got C. Then we have Amit and Prasun and Pantasaran Das who have got E. Okay. So all possible options have been covered. Chalo, let's look at it. Time is up. In fact, more than enough time has been given. Let's look at the solution now. So here we go. Look at the question. Find the amount earned by C if he invested the amount he received from his investment for next 2 years in the same scheme in which E has invested. And he's asking us to do an approximate calculation. Yeah, you can look at the options as well. 5,78,680, 5,54,650, 5,27,052, 5,37,600, and 5,88,956. So what is he asking us to find out? The amount earned by C if he invested the amount he received from his investment. He invested the amount he received from his investment. So first of all, we have to find out the amount that he has received from his investment. So if he is investing this amount for the next 2 years in the same scheme in which E has invested. So understanding the question is important first of all, right? What have to do? What do we have to do? Find out the amount that C earns here. Amount he received from his investment. What amount will he receive from his investment? This is the question mark. Let me put it this way. Right? Let's assume the amount he received from his investment is X. So this is X, find out X. Now this X for the next 2 years is invested in which scheme? In the scheme in which E has invested. So this X has to come here. So forget about the principal amount that E has invested. Forget about 2 lakh rupees. This X will come here. What would C do? C will invest his amount earned from his own scheme in the scheme of E. For how many years? For 2 years. This 2 years has to go here. For 2 years. So what will this be the value is the question. Right? So find the amount earned by C if he invested the amount he received from his investment, which is X, for the next 2 years in the scheme of E, in the scheme in which E has invested. So first and foremost, find out X. How do you get X? See, this is a compound interest case. So X will be equal to what? X is the total amount, by the way, but what is the CI for C, compound interest for C? I think we have done this calculation already, right? 2 years and 5% per annum. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5 by 100. Yes or no? Remember the compound interest calculation? Effective percentage, A plus B plus AB by 100. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5 by 100, 10.25%. 10.25% of what? 4,50,000. 10.25% of 4,50,000. How much is that? 45,000 plus 1,125. 46,125. 46,125. Yeah, this is the CI, compound interest that C has earned. What is X? X is the total amount. So X will be equal to 4,50,000 plus 46,125. You're getting it? 4,50,000 is the amount, principal amount. 46,125 is the interest that he has earned. The total will give you the value of X. So what is X? X is equal to, I mean, you can cut down a few steps here. You don't have to write down every step. So 4,50,000 plus 46,125, which is 4,96,125. 4,96,125. Yeah. Now this 4,96,125 is invested in E's scheme. So let's now come to the next part of the calculation, next part of the solution, right? The first part is done. The second part of the solution. So if 4,96,125 is invested in scheme of compound interest where you are getting 8% per annum for 2 years. First of all, CI at 8% for 2 years. How much will it be? Calculate this. What is the CI calculation? A plus B plus AB by 100, right? Effective percentage. So do that effective percentage calculation. 8 plus 8 plus 8 into 8 by 100. So 8 plus 8, 16. 8 into 8 by 100 is 0.64, 16.64%. So this will be equal to 16.64%. That means the interest that we earn from this scheme is 16.64%. 16.64% of whatever you have invested. Or whatever you have invested. How much has C invested? C has invested this 4,96,125. But remember, what are we supposed to find out? Total amount. Question mark. This is equal to, see, question mark is equal to what? Principal plus interest, right? This is principal amount plus interest amount. Principal is 100%. Interest is 16.64%. You're able to follow. So 100 plus 16.64. So question mark will be equal to 116.64%. See, if he's asking us to find out the interest, then that's a different story. Then that will be 16.64%. He's asking us to find out the amount. Amount is principal plus interest. So 100 plus 16.64, which is 116.64%. Of what? Of the investment. What is the investment? 496,125. 4,96,125. Calculation is your lookout. I'm not worried about that. Calculation is your lookout. You have to do the calculation yourself. So 116.64% of 4,96,125. Find out from the options. Approximately, you can do an approximate calculation. And because it is approximate calculation, you cannot apply unit digit method, root digit method and all these things, right? Never do that. Do not apply any of those smart techniques in questions where we have to do approximate calculations. Yeah. If you want to keep it simple, I mean, you better take it as 100 plus 16.64. 100% plus 16.64%. 100% is 4,96,125. 16.64%. 16.64 can be taken as 16.66. 16.66 is approximately 1/6. You're able to follow. I'll tell you how I would do it. I may or may not get the answer. I mean, depends on the options given there. But the understanding is this. I will say I am taking 16.64 as 16 point. You understand? This is 100% plus 16.66%. Yes or no? 16.64, 16.66. Hardly any difference. Why am I taking it as 16.66? Because 16.66 is 1/6 of the value. Yes or no? If you remember our calculations of percentages and their equivalent fractions. Yes or no? How do you write 16 point, what is 1/6 of any value? 16.66%. Yeah. So 116.64 can be taken as 100% plus 16.66% of 496,125. I may take this also as 100. I mean, I may take this approximately as 4,96,000. 125 is hardly any difference there. See, that way if we see it is like 5,78,000, 5,54,000, 5,27,000, 5,37,000, 5,80,000. So the options are spaced out. I can do a approximation of this extent, right? I'm taking 4,96,125 as 4,96,000 approximately. So what is the value final answer? It will be 100% of 4,96,000, which is 4,96,000 as it is, plus 1/6. 16.66 is 1/6. 1/6 of 4,96,000. So 4,80,000. 1/6 of 4,80,000 is 80,000. 1/6 of 16,000. Approximately 3,000. 83,000. You understand? Somewhere around 83,000. 4,96,000 by 6. So 4,80,000 plus 16,000. 4,80,000 by 6 is 80,000. 16,000 by 6 is 2,666 to be precise. So 80,000 plus 2,666. So 82,666. So 4,96,000 plus 82,000 approximately. Yeah, you're able to follow. 4,96,000 plus 82,000. So 4 lakhs, I mean basically 5 lakhs plus 78,000. So 5,78,000. I think approximately 5,78,000 in that range. Option A is the answer. Simple. It looked to be complex, but it's easy. If you take 16.64 as 16.66, then it becomes a lot easier. 1/6. 1/6 of this I am approximating as 82,000. This part 1/6 of 4,96,000 is 82,666. 83,000. I mean whatever you want to take. So 4,96,000 plus 82 is 5,78,000. The only option which is in the range of 5,78,000 here is option A. So remaining are wrong. I mean I'm 100% sure that B, C, D, E are wrong. Hence option A is the correct answer. So I hope all of you have followed this. I mean, time consuming. I'm not saying that you can solve it in 30 seconds, but it doesn't need 2 minutes also. 2 parts of the in the solution. First part is to find out C's total amount from his own investment, which comes out to be 4,96,125. Then invest that in another scheme which is giving you 8% per annum for 2 years and get the total amount. CI. So 8% for 2 years using our smart concept of compound interest gives you 16.64%. 16.64% of 4,96,125 is what you need to calculate. And add that to 4,96,125. Comes out to be 5,78,000. Yeah. See, well, it looks to be simple, but the point is I've gone through a lot of calculation. I mean, I have practiced a lot. I still practice a lot. So the idea is keep practicing. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Yeah. So that's about this very interesting question from from the data interpretation set that we have discussed. Let's move to the next one. Right? Here's the question. Try this now. Quick. He says if the ratio between the amount earned by B and C is 112:225 and the rate of interest at which B invested is 40% less than the rate of interest at which C invested, then find the investment of B. Another interesting one, but should not take much time. Try it out. Quick. This is the last question from this set, then we'll move on to the next one. Another question on missing data interpretation. Missing data basically. Okay, option E is what most of you have marked. Let's look at the solution now. So here we go. The question says if the ratio between the amount earned by B and C is 112:125. Amount earned by B and C. So basically this ratio is 112:125. Meaning if this is 112 parts, this is 225 parts. Alright? 112 parts and 225 parts. So the ratio between amount earned by B and C is 112:225 and the rate of interest at which B invested is 40% less than the rate at which C invested. See, C invested at what rate? 5% per annum. B invested at 40% less than that. Now this has to be understood properly, right? Rate at which C invested is equal to 5% per annum. Rate at which B invested is 40% less than this. So 5% minus 40% of 5%. C's investment is 5% per annum. B's investment is 40% less. His rate is 40% less than the rate of C. So 5% minus, see, you cannot take 5% minus 40%, minus 35%. I mean, that's not possible. Not possible as in, that's not ideal, right? You take 40% of 5%. Is 40% less than that rate. 40% of 5% is 2%. Yes or no? 40% of 5% is 2%. So 5% minus 2% comes out to be what? 3%. So indirectly what he has given us is that the rate at which B has invested is 3%. If C is 5, then B is 3. Find the investment of B. Find the investment of B. This is what has to be calculated. Find the investment of B. Principal amount for B is to be calculated. See, look at the, how do you arrive at this total amount? How do you arrive at this total amount? I can say the ratio 112 by 225 is as follows. See, total amount of amount of B by amount of C. How do you calculate that? Let's say this is P. This question mark is equal to P. I'm taking it as P. It is equal to P, right? So amount of B will be P plus. It's a simple interest case. 3% per annum. For how many years? 4 years. 3% per year for 4 years. It will be giving you how much interest? 12%. 3 into 4, 12%. So P plus 12% of P divided by total amount done by C. This is 4.5 lakhs. Yes or no? 4.5 lakhs. He is invested at what rate? 5% per annum for 2 years, but at CI. 5% per annum for 2 years, but the case is compound interest. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5 by 100, that will give you 10.25%. Yeah, so this is like 4,50,000 plus 10.25% of that. You getting it? Is equal to 112 by 225. The ratio of the total amounts is 112 is to 225. So 112 by 225 equals to principal plus 12% of the principal, and this principal 4,50,000 plus 10.25% of 4,50,000, because this is 5% for 2 years. This is 3% for 4 years. The big difference is this is SI case and this is a CI case. Okay. Now simplification is what is the challenge there, right? So do it now. What happens? See, it goes as follows. P plus 12% of P is 112% of P. P plus 12% of P is 112% of P. So 112% of P divided by, yes or no? P is 100% of P. 100% of P plus 12% of P is 112% of P. Now look at this. I can say 4,50,000 is 100%. 100% plus 10.25%. 100% plus 10.25% is 110.25%. Of what? Of 4,50,000. Is equal to 112 by 225. Don't start doing calculations immediately. First, try to get it in a form where you can, cancel out a lot of stuff on both the sides. Lot of stuff on both the sides. Yeah. So numerator is 112% of P. Denominator is 110.25% of 4,50,000. In fact, you should have written this step directly. This is an intermediate step. What I've written here is an intermediate step. For the sake of explanation, clear explanation, you should avoid this in the exam. You should also avoid this in the exam. These are all mental calculations. What you must directly write on paper is this. That this will give me 12%, so 112% of principal. This will give me 10.25%, so 110.25% of the principal equals to 112 by 225. Now work on the calculations. See, this percentage gets cancelled, right? By 100 and by 100 on both the sides. Yeah. This 112 and 112 also gets cancelled. So it becomes a lot simple in the first step itself. Yeah. So now we can say the principal amount P is equal to 110.25 into 4,50,000 divided by 225. So this is like 2,000 basically. 225 and 450 gets cancelled twice, right? 2 times. It goes 2 times in 450. So 2,000 into 110.25. Now it becomes easy. I mean, you understand, 2000 into 110.25, or if you want this decimal to go out, cancel out 2 zeros. 20 into 11,025 into 20. So 11,025 into 2 is 22,050. 22,050 into 10. 2,20,500. 2,20,500, option E is the answer. I hope all of you have understood this. Option E is the final answer. Okay. Calculation, it's about calculation, and please do not go by the length of the explanation. I mean, it's taken so much of time because I was explaining it to you, right? If I have to solve it myself, a lot of steps will be in air. Same applies to you as well, right? When you do it yourself, you will not write every point on paper. So cut down the number of steps that you put on paper, do your calculations quickly, and get your answers really quick. Okay, so we are done with this question on data interpretation with missing values involving the concept of SI and CI, simple and compound test. Let's move on to the last set of questions on data interpretation for the session today, which again is another case of missing data. Okay, so let me present the data to you all and quickly solve the questions involved with this, right? So the data is on your screens now. Following is a tabulation of number of ODI cricket matches played, won, lost and drawn by 5 different countries in the year 2016 with some missing data. Read the table carefully and answer the questions. So it's talking about the total number of matches played, number of matches won, number of matches lost, and the number of matches which are drawn. I think simple data. The 5 countries are Australia, India, Pakistan, South Africa, and Sri Lanka. So there's nothing to be explained here. I'm sure you guys can do it yourself. I mean, self-explanatory table basically. If you all understood this. Okay, so here's the data. Let's look at it once. Following is a tabulation of number of ODI cricket matches played, won, lost and drawn by 5 different countries in the year 2016 with some missing data. Read the table carefully and answer the questions. So here's the table, very simple table. It talks about 5 countries, Australia, India, Pakistan, South Africa and Sri Lanka. He's talking about the total number of matches played by each of these countries in these in a particular year, the number of matches won, number of matches lost, and the number of matches drawn. And values are missing. As you can see, some of the values here are missing. So what is the understanding of the data here? It's simple. Total number of matches played will be equal to the number of matches won plus number of matches lost plus the number of matches drawn. Yes or no? Won plus lost plus the number of matches that have drawn should give you the total number of matches that have been played. Yeah, I mean, if any one value is missing in the row, we can calculate the value very easily. Like for example here, this 150 should be equal to 90 plus number of matches lost plus number of matches drawn. Similarly, the total number of matches played here by Australia will be equal to number of matches that they have won plus 43 plus 12, right? But we can't really complete anything here since at least 2 values are missing in each row, right? Here we have got 2 values missing, here we have got 2 values missing, third row we have got 2 values missing, fourth row again South Africa we have got 2 values missing, Sri Lanka we have got 3 of the values missing. So we can't really do anything with the data here, right? We'll have to proceed with the questions. So look at the first one now. Here's the first question. Try this. How many countries have won more than 100 matches if the total number of matches won by all the countries 475 and the total number of matches played by Australia is twice as much as matches won by Sri Lanka? So interesting one. Find this out. How many countries have won more than 100 matches if the total number of matches won by all the countries is 475 and the total number of matches played by Australia is twice as matches won by Sri Lanka? Quick. So just fill up the values. Not more than 30 seconds for this one. Quick. All right, the time is up. Let's look at the solution now. So here we go. The first question here says how many countries have won more than 100 matches if the total number of matches won by all the countries is 475 and the total number of matches played by Australia is twice as the matches won by Sri Lanka, right? So we basically have to find out the number of countries which have won more than 100 matches. See, the number of matches won here has been given in column number 2, right? Here is what we have got, the total number of matches won by any country. Now, of the 5 countries listed out here, Australia, India, Pakistan, South Africa and Sri Lanka, we've been given this data only for 3 of them, right? India has won 100 matches, Pakistan has won 90, Sri Lanka has won 80. The data for Australia and South Africa is missing. Now, for us to be able to answer this question, we have to figure out the number of matches won by Australia and the number of matches won by Sri Lanka. Only then we can look at how many of these countries have won more than 100 matches in that particular year. Now, how do we get the data? Look at the clue given to us. He says the total number of matches won by all the countries is 475. So the column total here is going to be 475. This is 475, right? Total for all these 5 countries here. But that again doesn't really help us because 2 of the values are missing, right? Some of the 5 values here has to be 475, of which 2 are unknown, right? So not really helpful. But look at the other point given to us. The total number of matches played by Australia, this particular value is twice as the matches won by Sri Lanka. Now, how many matches have been won by Sri Lanka? 80, right? So number of matches played by Australia is twice of 80, 2 times of 80, and that's equal to 160. Now that we have figured out the number of matches played by Australia, can we find out the number of matches won by Australia? Yes. As explained earlier, the total number of matches played will be equal to the sum of matches won plus matches lost plus the number of matches drawn. So 160 should be equal to this missing value plus 43 plus 12. Now 43 and 12 adds up to 55. 160 minus 55 gives you 105. You getting it? 160 is 105 plus 43 plus 12. So 105 and 43 is 148 plus 12 is 160. So that's balanced. So with this we have figured out the number of matches won by Australia. And now that we know the number of matches won by Australia, we can also find out the number of matches won by South Africa, because the total of this column is 475, right? So let's do that calculation now. 105 plus 100 is 205, 205 plus 90 is 295, plus 80 is 375. You getting it? 105 plus 100 is 205, 205 plus 90 is 295, 295 plus 80 is 375. 375 plus what gives you 475? 375 plus 100. So this should be equal to 100, right? The total of these 5 values here is equal to 475. Now come to the question, original question. How many countries have won more than 100 matches? Now I'm sure some of you have marked the answer as 3 for this one, right? Option D. I could see many of you have marked the answer as option D, that there are 3 countries which have won more than 100 matches, and your list must be Australia, India and South Africa. Yeah, Pakistan anyway is ruled out. Pakistan has won only 90 matches. Sri Lanka again is out of the list because it's won only 80. But guys, focus and look at the question. It says how many countries have won more than 100 matches. Very specific here. How many of them have won more than 100 matches? Remember, 100 is not more than 100. 100 is equal to 100. Sounds obvious, but this is where you have committed a mistake, right? How many countries have won more than 100 matches? There's only one country here, and that's Australia, which has won more than 100 matches. India and South Africa have both won equal to 100 matches. But these cannot be considered in our list of countries. So the final answer to this question has to be option B, which is 1. There's only one country which has won more than 100 matches, and that is Australia, and the value there is 105. I'm sure a lot of you must be feeling really bad about this, right? I mean, having done so much of calculation, if you end up marking a wrong answer just because of a simple misunderstanding, it calls for it, and you should feel bad about it, and you should understand that you're not paying attention to it, right? Reading and understanding the question is half of the solution. So option B is the final answer to this one. And if you're feeling bad, live with it. You have to learn from your mistakes. Let me now move to the next one from this set of questions on data interpretation with missing data. So here's the next question on your screens now. What does it say? What is the total number of matches played by India if the number of matches drawn by India, it's draw there but should be drawn, apologies for that error, if the number of matches drawn by India is 10% of the matches won by India. Yeah, total number of matches played by India is what has to be calculated. Remember, when you're solving questions from data interpretation where data is missing, never try to use the data from the previous questions into this one. Like earlier we had found that number of matches won by Australia is 105, right? You cannot take up that value here. That's not known to you. That's over with that, right? It's like raat gayi baat gayi types. I mean, that question is over. That data has to be forgotten now, unless it is, you know, fixed there. It was not fixed. It was a if kind of a case, right? It was conditional. So solve this question without considering any data that you had obtained in the previous question. All right, this seems to be quick. Option A is what I see as the most common response, right? Option A. Easy. Vignesh says it's easy and the answer is A. Okay, so let's look at this one. Looks like I've given you more than what is required for this question, right? Try this out. Or let me try this out now. So what is the total number of matches played by India if the number of matches drawn by India is 10% of the matches won by India? Okay, so here we have the data for India, right? Row number 2. So total number of matches played is not known to us. Number of matches won is 100. Number of matches lost is 44. Now he says the number of matches drawn by India is 10% of the matches won by India. Oh, so this is a piece of cake, right? 10% matches drawn is 10% of the matches won. So 10% of 100 is 10. Please do not write this on paper and waste your time, right? Waste your valuable time. I'm writing it here so that I can explain it to you. You guys don't need an explanation for this one, but still. So 10% of 100 is 10. In fact, you need not put pen on paper for this one. You know this is 10, this is 100 and this is 44. So sum of these three values will be 154. So total number of matches played by India is 154, which is option A. Now what's the takeaway from this one? You guys might be wondering, right? What do we actually have to, what's the real takeaway? Very simple. 10% of 100 is 10. Adding up those three values will result in 154, and that's the answer. But the conclusion that we can make from the two questions that we have solved so far from this particular set is that never judge a set of data interpretation questions based on just the data or just one of the questions. Well, the previous one took us a little bit of time to arrive at the answer. It involved some calculation. It also involved some logical understanding that 100 is equal to 100 and not more than 100. This is a very simple one. Yeah. So like I always say, if there are 5 questions with a particular set, data interpretation, you need not solve all the 5. He's not asking you to answer all the 5, right? Our job there is to solve as many questions as possible in that limited time, right? And what will a smart person do? He will choose the 2 most easiest ones, right? Or the 3 most easiest ones, or the 3 easy ones, right? It is always so that out of the 5 questions asked, 1 or 2 are really complex either in terms of the difficulty level or in terms of the time requirement. Yeah, if a particular question involves too many calculations, you better skip it. Yeah, so out of 5 questions, if you find that 2 of them are going to take about a minute or so or more than that, you skip those questions. If there are other 3 which can be solved in less than 30 seconds, you better go for it. So I'll solve 3 easier questions from 2 sets, 3 and 3 6 questions, instead of solving 5 questions of one particular set. All right, the whole idea is to optimize the score there, right, in that limited time. So the point is, choose your questions wisely. It's not just about how easy or difficult the question is. It's also about choosing your questions wisely. So choose your questions wisely and boost your overall score in the exam. On that note, let me quickly present the next one. I guess this is the last question from this particular set of data interpretation, and I hope all of you get the right answer to this one as well. This looks to be a question involving the concept of ratios, right? So here's the question on your screens now. What does it say? If none of the matches was drawn by any country, now this is interesting. He's ruling out one of the values given in the table itself, right? He says none of the matches was drawn by any of the country, then what will be the ratio between matches played by India, Pakistan and South Africa to the number of matches lost by India, Pakistan and Australia? Okay, so if none of the match was drawn by any of the country, then what will be the ratio between the matches played by India, Pakistan and South Africa to the number of matches lost by India, Pakistan and Australia, right? Pay attention to the question. 3 countries in the first set there are India, Pakistan and South Africa, and those in the second set are India, Pakistan and Australia. You know what usually happens, by the time you end up reading the question, you make up your mind that this is about India, Pakistan and Australia, or India, Pakistan, South Africa, and you find out the values respectively. But it's not the case, right? The teams there are changing. So try this out. Should not take more than 40-45 seconds. Your clock starts now. D, option D is what many of you have marked. Option D. But then Ram Lakshmi says that should be option E, none of these. All right, let's take this up now. Here we go. So if none of the match was drawn by any of the country, then what will be the ratio between matches played by India, Pakistan and South Africa to the number of matches lost by India, Pakistan and Australia? So point number 1, none of the matches was drawn by any of the country. So basically matches drawn column is ruled out. None of the matches are drawn. So this 12 also here becomes null. It becomes 0. None of the matches are drawn by any of the country. Now what happens? Finding out the values would become easy, right? See, there are only 3 values. Now what happens? Total number of matches played is equal to matches won plus matches lost. Total played is equal to the number of matches won plus the number of matches lost. Yeah. So wherever possible, we can find out the values. Like here in case of Australia, 2 values are missing, so we can't really do anything about it. But India, you know that they have 100 matches, they have lost 44 matches. So total matches played is 144. On the other hand, Pakistan, 150 played, 91, which means they have lost 60. South Africa, 162 played, 47 have been lost. So what will be the number of matches won? 162 minus 47, which is 115. And Sri Lanka, of course, we again cannot find out because 2 of the values are missing. Yeah. Now, what is the ratio that we are looking for? Matches played by India, Pakistan and South Africa. Played by India, Pakistan and South Africa. This total. India, Pakistan, South Africa. And number of matches lost by India, Pakistan and Australia. Number of matches lost by India, Pakistan and Australia. India, Pakistan and Australia. So India, Pakistan and Australia. Lost. India, Pakistan, South Africa played. India, Pakistan, South Africa played. So your answer should be 144 plus 150 plus 162 versus 43 plus 44 plus 60. Simplify this. So 140 and 150 is 290. 290 and 160 will be 450. 450 plus 6 is 456. No, yes. 144 and 150. 294. 294 and 162 is 296. 296, yeah. 456. This is 456. These two, 43, 44 and 60. So it's like 80 and 60, 140 and 7, 147. 87 and 60, 147. I guess it can be simplified further. 456 is to 147. Both are divisible by 3, right? So this is 152 is to 49. Yeah, option D seems to be the answer. 152 is to 49. 152 times 3 is 456. 49 times 3 is 147. So 152 is 49. Option D. And like I said, some of you, I can read your comments now. Some of you have gone wrong in this question because you have chosen the wrong countries. I told you, be very, very careful. India, Pakistan, South Africa for total number of matches played, and India, Pakistan and Australia for total number of matches lost. And as expected, some of you have committed that mistake. So option D is the right answer, just because of one simple error that you have committed in choosing the values. So be careful. I think it's getting a good score in these exams is not just about how much you know. It's also about how much you apply of what you know, right? You have to be quick, but you cannot be committing such errors in a hurry there. Okay. So that's about it. I think we are done with this set as well. We have more questions from data interpretation, but we will take those up in the next session, which is coming up tomorrow at 6 p.m. right? Data interpretation part 2 tomorrow at 6 p.m. with more such interesting questions from this very, very important topic of data interpretation in quantitative aptitude. I hope all of you have had a good time here. Please join us tomorrow again and keep practicing. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Take very good care of yourselves. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.